Alright, hello. I hope everyone can hear me and see the stream. There are currently 0 viewers because we didn't advertise this one first. Okay, we are about to watch the first game. Let me fix some things like this. Okay, we're about to watch the first game in Kyra versus Mr. Styx's QtM .cat match. Only the first game of the top cut will, only the first game of the match will actually count for a top cut. But there are going to be 2 of them. And the second one will be just for show. I have made the players way too much already because I've been slow with setting up the stream. Theoretically, we will look at lists, but I don't want to make them wait more than this. So I will have them start in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Melee, knife, chip, and shutter. I think we still have to do keeper modes. So we have a Lu list, and I'm expecting this to be a classic mulch thing. And then we have Ateya from Kyra. And I think I know what kind of Ateya this is. I expect it to be sort of like a glacier thing, sort of similar to the algae infusion decks we've been seeing, but ID shifted. Excited to see this at work. Okay, so we have answer review as our first click, putting something away. And we're installing, getting an Ateya triggers possibly. Okay, classic Ateya start. We have 10 credits, we have 3 cards down, and this is already looking interesting. We're against Lu. I don't know how the matchup works. I don't know if Kyra is backing any copies of Mothers, which will be a big deal. By the way, if anyone can confirm in chat that they can hear me, that would be a great help. Okay, we do have the Imp in the opener. This is the most important thing you want to see as Lu. So Imp and run, is it going to be a Spin Doctor? No, it's a Biovolt. Somehow we have a Biovolt on the nice server. That gets trashed. I guess maybe you were just expecting it to be trashed. And we pay for the Biovolt, we imp a border control that we find in HQ, we have 1 more click. Now, if this is a Rashida, that makes a big difference. Yes, it is. So if that was something else, like if that was La Costa, Kyra would be looking at having a rough time here. But luckily we do have something more propulsive. And maybe we can start icing centrals, protecting from imp, or pushing yet something more that gives us forward tempo. We have an install, we have an Ateya trigger, so we're still pushing Styx to do things. Hopefully for Kyra, the server free is like a Spin Doctor, so you're not giving just the free imp usage to Styx. And then we do put Summoning in server too. So, and we move in an Adrian. Okay, that makes some sense. So HQ is going to get imped, but also whatever we are pushing in server to, depending on whether or not it comes down on something, may just be safe. 6 draws, and they're running HQ, trashing whatever we see. That's a Rashida that can be trashed with a credit, so we keep an encounter around. which is going to be kind of precious because knob here is not going to get installed right now probably, so you like having one more counter around. And we're thinking. I can zoom even more actually. Look at all that zoom. And we run again. We still had the imp counter potentially, and we touched Lacosta, but this time we had an Audrey, so we are starting to collect our counters. The problem will only be how to get up from this situation because we have 0 credits. Maybe there is a marching in hand or something like that. Maybe if there's a strike fund, I guess we see it discarded right now probably. But I'm expecting something like a marching, so Styx can jump back up. Okay, we'll lose a battle, so that's fine. Doesn't seem terribly important right now. Kyra's not. I would have expected a Lacosta rest, like you have Lacosta plus Charlotte or Lacosta plus like a Nise. Instead, we do not rest anything and we elect to draw with our first click. Are we looking for what? HQ Ice? HQ Ice would make sense. We lost one border control that could have been that. Now we're sort of looking for something else. We're giving it a little think. So what is in the remote? Hello Jai. We are watching a couple of games of Netrunner, your favorite game. I wonder what is in the remote, because like, if there is, so that strongly hints at there being no Lacosta, because unless it's like Lacosta plus Mavirus, which means you wouldn't get any benefits from Lacosta. Okay, it is, we have yet one more card, and a piece of ice, so we're kind of giving up on centrals for a moment. I guess maybe there's some positive tempo to be gained there, like there's a Charlotte, so we can actually draw into more ice and then we can ice up remotes. I don't think this is like, I think this is kind of unlikely to be just the place where we are pushing an agenda currently. Is Neil asking, is this Diamond Fabric release Ateya? I actually haven't had the time to look at the list because I was late for the stream. We can give it a momentary glance, and we do have one Diamond Fabric release. It's not as strongly focused on that. It's our agendas, our fortunes are mostly Niseis. What were the imp trashes? The imp trashes were border control and Lacosta from hand. I would assume at this point that there is a Lacosta in the server too, because like how many upgrades can you have? We have an Adrian. We probably don't have a Volvo because a Volvo would have been installed on another remote. Also, I don't think there is one in the list. Yeah, we have Mavirus, Biovolt, Lacosta. Unless we're stacking Biovolts in here, I would expect there to be a Lacosta now. We are pricing, and we're getting an imp down. So I suppose HQ. No, it's not going to be HQ. Kyra's waiting. I guess this is sort of suggesting that there might be. Yeah, we're thinking. Okay, we're thinking about Mavirus, I suppose. So that's one of those set cases where like it is detrimental to think about a decision. It's detrimental to sit there and think about a potential decision that you end up not taking, because you're kind of telegraphing now that there's a Mavirus around, which makes a lot of difference in case Styx will want to run server 2. Okay, there is no Charlotte being raised, so that's maybe a biovolt, or maybe it just is an agenda, and we're kind of, I guess, it's taking our chances on the Malware's protecting us, which makes sense. We're protecting R&D. Interesting. We believe that HQ doesn't hold anything of too much significance. And fast turnover. Kyra's been drawing a lot, which makes sense because she's been losing a lot of cards to Styx's Lou already. I suppose a random HQ will probably happen, and the rest, I guess, will be board development. I was expecting to see a moshing, and they're on. Oh, was it played? No, the moshing was prized, so there actually wasn't a moshing in hand. They probably want me now. I wonder how Styx gets up in credit total and starts getting to a place where he can like install an Obkiri. Oh yeah, there was a Mavericks on the remote, as expected. So I guess this play by Kyra sort of indicates that there is probably not rushables in HQ, so you can safely res and pop the Mavericks, which you didn't before, because now you can't farm counters if I pop my Mavericks. Jai, it's tricky to get a Marvel full also resing eyes. I'm expecting there to be like Tatubola or something like that. And like you can res all of your stuff anyway because you're in La Costa mode, you don't really need credits to get things going. Styx drawing desperately. We're playing a Stillskin. Looking, I guess, for something to do. Sadly, a fermenter could be a nice install here. It's a cookbook, which is maybe a good lead up to a fermenter next turn. Now we have an advancement on a card. This is kind of a turn that could tell us whether that's a biovolt or something to score. But maybe that will remain a mystery. We just draw, play the hedge fund. Now, I suppose there are going to be trashable cards in the queue, but I don't think Styx just has the money to trash anything from HQ. So it looks like Lou is kind of behind enough on tempo that maybe like Kyra's servers are generally safe. Okay, we have click for credit, play strike fund. We have one more click, and that's the fermenter. Okay. I guess Styx is going to be able to actually threaten stuff again starting like next turn. Depending on whether this is a biovolt or an agenda, Kyra's chances may be variable. We'll see what this is. It's still sort of unclear. Jai saying Stillskin for click seems odd. Yeah, I would expect like usually if you have an Audrey, I would expect you to Audrey the Stillskins or distract ones rather than playing them outright. I don't know if there is any. Oh, don't play Balatra. Don't play Balatra, especially the Jokerless runs. That's very, very glad we could give you something better. Oh, we do have an agenda. Okay, so this was Nizei. We were kind of slow cooking it. Going and scoring it means that maybe we're going to push something else. It also means, this is going to make everything a lot more airtight for some time. Installing. Okay, we're out of Maverus, we're out of Adrian. That obviously cannot be another La Costa, so I suppose that's a biovolt, which is not active right now. It will be later. And something else, an asset, an agenda. Yeah, no, SNHQ is not great. There are no imp counters. Okay, we have an Obkiri. Styx choosing to go the sort of the slow way. not clicking fermenter, but rather clicking for 2 credits manually to keep the fermenter going. Okay, Charlotte gets trashed. Does that mean we have another one in the remote? Or would you rather push an agenda? Okay, we have Rashida. So we have a Rashida, we pop her, we put a counter on a Biovolt, I suppose, which is great. And now maybe we have a QIs. And we have an easy counter and half a Biovolt. We are in a decent spot as a Teia. Though, like, Cookbook is down, so Trick Scam came down. Like, I guess Fermenter play a Botulus next turn will go a certain way towards invalidating his QIs. Okay, we're installing on the second remote and also in the iced remote. I suppose that's 7-4 is likely a spin. We would expect a spin at this point because we're halfway through the deck. Is it going to be an ice on HQ? So we have 2 clicks left. Playing economy cards will make sense. Ice HQ will make sense. Also, completing the Biovolt, so to speak, will make sense. I don't know what we're going for here. Okay, Ice HQ and play Hedron. I wonder if maybe there was some thought was being given to just completing the Biovolt, but I guess you don't need to do that because you have the easy counter anyway. So you can be a little slower at that. Now its pin is down, supposedly. We have a bunch of interesting cards to get back. The border control seems very good. Town looks like... I'm not a Bolch expert, but I suppose Town is well positioned into Audrey. Mavirus, I don't know if you'd rather get back or keep there as poison. Having only one sadly means you kind of have to peek. We are threatening what appears to be a spin. It is a spin. And this is going to be an interesting choice. Viable to make sense. We get border control and an unseen card. The unseen card was from the answer review on the first click of the game, I believe. If you can get Icept and Loop Purged, the Nise counter seems like it will be very strong. Yeah, I think so too. I think the Nise counter can do a lot here. We res a border control. That's not a big tax for Audrey. Like, if Styx can get in, he will definitely get this Audrey counter back. So, but border control is not enough on its own. And are we thinking? Yes, okay. Well, we are actually deciding to do that thing where we use the Nise counter to make sure that Styx is locked. Now, you don't have a counter to get into R&D. You probably don't have a way to get into HQ depending on what ice it is. So Kyra is saying, find the Simul chip. And if you don't, I can't let you in. I guess finding a Simul chip doesn't seem especially difficult right now. Like, we're more than halfway through the deck, we would expect a Simul chip to be there. If there is, you can just get back to Cleaver and just get into R&D, unless it gets sized more than this. Yeah, Cleaver's in the bin. That's a good thing though, like that means you have three Cleavers you can draw rather than one. Now we have a Biovolt that's half-rezzed. like half completed. We have a bunch of extra money and a Charlotte that promises to give more. We could ice centrals more aggressively, or we can just purge the fermenter. That makes some sense. It makes some sense to purge the fermenter, given that you were planning to purge. I wonder whether you really had to use the Nisei token. Like, you were going to remove those counters anyway, right? So maybe you didn't really have to use it. I don't know. Maybe this was a consequence of something that was just drawn, which inspired a change in direction. I just think you could have just waited on the purge and given up one axis. But now Styx is locked, and that's the most important thing. One good thing about this is a simulative would be very awkward, because then you trash the fermenter you have, but we have a boomerang. That does something. Now we have the option to strand the boomerang, to just leave it in the heap. It will be one of what I assume are 2 boomerangs in the Styx's list. We do not strand the boomerang. We let 6 get through, and the boomerang gets trashed and shuffle back. And we lose a Bran from the top of R&D. So that is sad. Bran will be very, very good right now, like on a piece of ice you want to put on R&D. I assume that Kyra probably has more of those. And the single chip is done. So no bottles in the pain, interestingly. But we still have like a cleaver that can get through border control. We have a tranquilizer that could be very dangerous later on. We have some promising threats lined up on Styx's side. So I think both R&D and HQ are due some sort of improvement. I don't know if Kyra is able to do both. And again, there's still the biohold that has to be advanced. At some point you have to do it, and actually it may be very instrumental in securing a lock. It's just obviously the Lacosta counter is going to go on Charlotte for a long time, so this is going to have to be manual, most likely. We are thinking a lot. What could this mean? I mean, that's the regular turning here. This matchup is really filled with complicated choices. Sorry, thinking. I suppose we have many pieces of ice in hand. I would expect there to be 2 or 3 at least, and many places we could install them in. I don't think we're considering removing the Charlotte from Server 2 yet, because I think I would imagine this kind of deck runs quite big ice. We haven't seen any announces or anything like that, but I wouldn't be surprised at all wouldn't be surprised at all if that was if the scars were around. I would expect them to be around. Actually, I keep forgetting we do have the list. So, yeah, we have a toll booth, we have announces. This is basically the Ag Infusion list, right? By the Natea. I am a little perplexed by the complete lack of Vampire Nessa, but there maybe are reasons for that. Well, I guess there is no Anaetic Void, so that partly explains. Niall asking, has Fight Club got all the testing group async league built? We have started doing the QtM league before Fight Club started, but this is the first time we've like gotten the top cut for it. And it's only the top cut that we're streaming. Yeah, I don't think an agenda push is viable here. We just need to make more money of Charlotte for a while. We're actually only installing on R&D. HQ is staying with only one piece of ice, which hints at it being the best target for Styx, I suppose. We have the Biovault completed. We also advanced Charlotte, which I suppose is like the slightly better equivalent of looking for a credit. Like that kind of indicates to me that there's not much to do because it's not going to be worth that much. What Fight Club has done is I think like for some of us it has convinced us of how good untimed games can be and how good games with known lists can be. I think we've had a lot of fun, we've had a lot of enjoyment from having these games where you can play at your best, you can do the best you could possibly do, and you can think a lot about what exactly the threats in your deck, in your opponent's deck are, and how they're going to use them. And you have as much time as you want to do that. I think we've been enjoying that immensely. Like, I and D were having a conversation about that. Okay, we are popping a fermenter, we are running HQ on our third click. We do have a bottles in hand. I was talking about not there being one in the bin, but actually without read, that's not what counts. So we are breaking with knob, we are breaking two subs with knob, we are recurring the bottles with the simul chip, and now Kyra would have the option of popping the Biovault and say, you're not getting your knob trigger out of this. And that's what we're doing. Okay. So that means, unless Styx is willing to eat the whole spider damage, next turn HQ is not something that he can run yet. And Kyra has a couple of turns to find extra eyes to put on HQ to make it extra solid. I see some of you are talking about a push next turn. I think a push next turn could have made sense. But after this announce res, maybe we want still more money. I have no clue what the ice on the board is. There's going to be something like a Tattoo Bola, I suppose, so something that's easier to res, but also more analysis wouldn't surprise me. So I think in most positions you will be inclined to wait a little bit more, like a turn more. Oh no, we are popping the Charlotte. Okay. We believe we have the needed resources to push an agenda through reliably. Or maybe we just push in another Charlotte and bluffing. Let's see what happens. And by the way, yeah, I think the sorry for derailing the conversation from the match. I think the team element of Fight Club and the no lists are two elements that synergize very well with each other, because it meant you could practice in a very like targeted way, and your teammates were perfect people to practice those games with. I think the two things went very well together. I remember someone making up an in-core project that didn't exist. I don't remember who it was. I guess maybe it was you. Um, but but then you won nonetheless. I don't remember what happened. Okay, we have an install with an extra install, which I suppose is going to be a spin. You're not going to put anything unprotected. That isn't a spin there. Okay, we draw. Hand save would be great here. Some kind of economy card and an Ice on HQ would be great. I don't know what we have. Subliminal? We still have 2 more clicks. Is loop on pinhole? Let me check. I do have the list somewhere. He sent me the list on Discord, so I have to do this. Yeah, we have 1 pinhole, which could be very relevant, but it's also only 1. I don't think we've lost it yet. Okay, we're Ice and HQ advancing this. I don't know if this means it's a 5-3 or if it means just we want to score it quicker. Okay, Styx drawing. There is something we are looking for. I guess it could be the pinhole. I guess Simul chip wouldn't hurt here. If you do find the Simul chip, at least you're in a good spot to start hammering HQ again starting next turn. Or at least like you are going to be able to get some accesses somewhere. Right. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Okay, we have Jai on stream.
Hello.
Congratulations
Hello,
for making it all
fellows.
the way here.
Uh,
I will have to raise you a little bit. I think you're
me.
kind of low. No, not Twitch chat. YouTube chat, please tell us if you can hear Jai. Okay, we're boomeranging HQ here and simul shipping. Is that okay? Oh, you can join the game. Oh, I guess there is. I guess it's passworded. I'm going to have to stream it to you.
Oh yeah, that's not an issue.
Screen sharing. Are you seeing things?
There we go. Yeah, I see it.
Okay,
Oh yeah, that looks.
what just happened is Styx had a setup for a run on
Yeah,
HQ, but he just hit a
ran into
toll
a toll
booth,
booth.
and
This is quite cool. I think it's a the timing of this play is interesting to me because the botulus is still on was still on two counters at the time that he made it.
yeah, I don't know whether the intent
Uh,
is to like recycle the botulus or you were just planning to eat the damage, which what you have still, you still have one steel skin, one strike fund. I don't know, maybe.
yeah. Uh, Although conversely, on the other side, now Kyra pushing out this timely public release, uh, going down to 5 credits. One hopes that she has another econ card to bounce back as this last click, or maybe you just put something else in the server too to keep feeding the lack of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Possibly, yeah. Um, like I think either are sad. Um, like playing a hedge fund and then not having anything like the time to push anything is a little sad. Pushing something and having a very limited credit pool for raising stuff is also quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now,
I do wonder,
well,
does Styx
do you have
now
the
have
ability to increase your volume on your end a little bit?
let me see if I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people saying you're still, despite my best efforts, you're still a little quiet.
Okay, let me check my own settings. Um, okay, is this better?
That should be better. I think I have to lower you now because
Okay.
I had you so boosted. Now you're clipped. Try now.
Okay. Yeah. In the meantime, something has happened while we were doing
Something quite important
audio
has happened.
stuff.
Yes, we derased the anansi. So that means we can get into HQ if we just click for a credit.
Yes.
So
Yes. Uh,
another counter can be farmed, and then maybe that gets into server too.
yeah, it is. It is interesting because I was thinking right before we tangented that with Kyra on 5 credits, I think Styx had maybe a line with the simul chip to get into server 2 twice, like even like the Adrian side game aside.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I keep
And
forgetting that Adrian is
uh,
still there. You also have to beat that.
yeah,
Mm.
uh, and I mean,
I think this push by Kirado tells us something about how safe the remote is. Like, I'm expecting there to be a like it's possible that there is a tattoo bola on the outermost. That will make the most sense to me.
yes, I think absolutely. Um, yeah, but there is the thing about the timely public release is that I mean we've all seen before like how good it is with Thea with like off-turn installs
Mm-hmm.
into like pseudo fast advancing 4-2s. But the thing about timely public being the second agenda you're scoring, bringing you to 4 points, is that it doesn't really help you in scoring a bacterial.
Well, it
I mean,
does help in some ways. Like you can put a border control. It can be a pseudonize.
sure, sure,
I think
yeah,
one
but
interesting thing about Tamil Public Plays is if you can keep a tattoo bola in HQ or in archives, it kind of means you can like you can make extra money your opponent wouldn't expect you to make by just putting a tattoo bola in the middle of the run.
yeah, that's a good point, and I think uh, just the that sneaky use of TPR counters is something that I mean not many people have that experience with playing into, so that can catch some people off guard.
I wonder if we're going to
Uh,
see a tentative release right now to stop Styx from getting an access. No, we're not getting it.
no,
We're actually trashing a tributary. So Kira had the option to tributary there, but chose not to. I guess This counter means a lot.
Yes, and
Your voice is a little bit
symmetry is.
laggy, by the way.
Oh, my voice is laggy.
Like it's,
Okay, what moment?
yeah. I don't know if maybe it's just on my end because I'm also streaming. We are shuffling with spin. We are advancing something with La Costa, and that could mean we're threatening to win next turn, which timely public release can help with a bit.
Yeah, so so this does threaten a score out next turn.
Yes.
And of course, Styx being on zeros various counters is extremely. Oh, and it's a purge actually.
It's a purge. We have removed the only other counter that was there. To me, Kyra is very strongly representing a Tatubola because you don't just like. I think this is looking like the win probably, unless it's
exactly.
we're just low rolling like a Biovolt. It's really looking like the win, and I don't think you feel confident going for this kind of line unless you have some secret money stashed up somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do wonder, like, knowing what we know now, if it ended up having been correct to for Styx to contest the remote when Kyra was on 5 credits. I guess, I mean, she still is on 5 credits, but the difference being that you had that Audrey counter before and that Simul chip. And Styx elected to commit that Simul chip to that to tranquilize the Anansi.
Yeah.
Even knowing there was a toll in front of it, which.
Yeah, I think that toll being rezzed makes the tranquilizer. Like, I think the tranquilizer is amazing generally. I think with the toll booth rezzed, it becomes a little more difficult to justify it. Because you're not going to get in for cheap anyway. Your ability to make credits is generally not great because you're low, but it's also like really at a low right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think notably at this board state, Kyra is still threatening to win the game, even if the Populous, if a Tattoo Bola is phosphorus on server 2, it's the perfect win for Vectorial score. But Styx is sticking to his guns. We see here clicking for another crit and running HQ, we assume.
Mm-hmm. We are running HQ. And
yeah, apologies. I don't know if I can get the ping issue sorted. It appears to be a Discord issue.
It's probably a Discord issue. I guess it maybe is due to me also streaming the game to you on Discord. I'll ask them to use a different password for next game, so we don't have to leak anything.
Yeah.
I'll ask them to use mana actually. Do we have a win?
Oh, now and it
is a win. Yes.
Yeah.
Very slowly advanced. Right. Okay, GG to both. I'll ask if they want to play the second game, which we had said we will probably do, but like no obligation on them. They know it will be nice for the stream though.
It is pretty late for Styx, I believe. It's past midnight where he is.
It is, yeah. I think it is probably. It is in Singapore right now. It's like what past 11.
It's 11:15,
and it's 1 a.m. at Styx's. Okay. If you do another one, please. Okay. Uh, we we're going to be responsible and go to sleep this time.
Oh,
This was
I did somewhat be irresponsible, but all right. Of course, no pressure on our players.
okay. We're very proud of our players for being this responsible. Okay. This was the semifinal. Um, and this was just a
And
single elimination top cut, very quick, though we're taking some time to
yes,
complete it because of organizational reasons. And the last round will be Chris Dravus versus Kyra. Hi, Chris Dravus. And hi, Kyra. Um, I
do we know the matchup for that already?
no, because decks are going to be like players are going to be able to change decks.
In between
So
rounds. All right.
I think the sides are going to be randomized because I think both like Corp won in both games. I'm not sure. I think Corp won in both semifinal games. So we're going to have random sides and we're going to see what it's going to be. I have no clue. Oh no, it's double
I
limb.
don't suppose.
It's double limb. People are telling me in chat, so I'm wrong, I guess. Um, okay, so we have more to see.
I don't suppose the. I mean, since we're here talking about this, and there isn't any more games to spectate, I don't
Mm-hmm.
suppose like the organized play policies have any provision for like these kind of asynchronous events where people are allowed to change text between rounds.
I don't know about that.
At
We
least
could
for
check.
how.
So let's go and check.
Yeah.
Um, organized play policy. Yes, I'm still streaming my browser to you. Am I not?
Oh yes, yes.
Organizers. Organized play policies.
Yeah, because so previously I was playing the last uh shall we say official asynchronous event that I played was the Seattle asynchronous CO,
Mm-hmm.
which was a 5 round double-sided Swiss, and I do think that double-sided Swiss still makes sense for asynchronous events just because
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to
playing
schedule
one
fewer
game.
rounds. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and but then the top cut was a very interesting format. It was best of three.
Mm-hmm.
It was best of
That's
a
cool.
single elimination. Yeah, and the higher seed picks which side to start playing first, and then you swap sides after each game. So if you choose to cope first, and it goes to 3 games, you end up coping twice if you're the higher seed.
I think we should have more. Um, we should have more tournament formats where there's like a very long match, like a best of five. Although I guess Fight Club is dead
Best of
already.
five.
I guess Fight
Yeah,
Club is dead already, but like having these very long grueling matches where I think one of the interesting parts is one player being forced to play multiple decks from one side.
oh, that's quite cool. As in from different, I mean, assuming different factions and so
Probably
on and so
yes.
forth.
It sounds like kind of a exhibition thing.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Fight Club, but single player, which is kind of what I did for Valhalla.
Maybe just a team tournament is more fun. I
Hmm.
think Fight Club really was one of the best like viewer experiences you could have. At least if you are some sort of like the sort of player that really enjoys like very intense, very thinky competitive
Yeah,
games.
for sure.
It really was. By the way, yeah, I've looked at some of the organized play policies. Interestingly, there is nothing stated that there is nothing stating that a player has to use the same deck for the whole event. So I guess from what we have in here, um, we don't we don't like the policies allow for both like synchronous and asynchronous events. Like there is nothing stating that sanctioned events don't allow for changing lists between matches. I guess that's
Hmm.
kind of implied for some kinds of events, and it's the same way it's implied that
And
it's
for
not
most,
okay
yeah,
for others.
for most premier level events, it is explicitly stated, I would imagine.
It is like the only thing you know is that if an event requires deck lists, you have to submit them before the first round starts. So that applies for the whole event. Um,
Right. So
but
so
it is not
hypothetically, if
stated that in a physical event where you would not be required to bring a deck list, you are required to not change your decks. I think that's implied, but it's interesting that it's not stated. So there is no way in which, like an asynchronous event where you can change decks, does not fall within what is allowed. Um, from what
so
explicitly
okay,
said. Interestingly, one thing that is said is that deck lists must exactly match the player's physical decks, and the only references we have are to physical decks.
that that definitely looks like something that should be looked at.
Maybe. Um, yeah, I
So
guess.
wait, so hypothetically speaking, if let's say
Mhm.
some events, let's say an event requires text lists, but for some reason doesn't specify that players can't change lists between rounds. A player could, for example, submit the deck list and say, "This is my round one deck list," and do note I will be changing these cards in between round one and round two, for example. Uh,
Right, because you are required to submit deck list before the first round starts, but you're not. But it doesn't say how many you can submit. Yeah, I think basically all of this is common sense, you know.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but
for sure.
I don't know. This is a very fun sort of document to, um, like, no offense intended to people who have the duty of, keeping this in working order. And
It's an extremely thankless task. Shout out to you, Sanguine and company.
yes, but it's just fun when you have this kind of document that are sort of like has have some legalistic nature and leanings, but obviously are meant to represent common practice.
Mm,
You have things that are very well defined, and then you have things with a bunch of holes in them, just because you're like people are supposed to know how things work. Um, and it's
exactly.
always an interesting mismatch between the two kinds of information. My favorite thing about the CR, the comprehensive rules, apart from not defining like what shuffling is, um, which
Oh, is that right?
yeah, which has relevant implications. One interesting thing is that it is stated that HQ and R&D represent the core player's hand and deck, and sometimes it is stated
Yeah.
that HQ and R&D are the corp's hand and deck, and these are two subtly different things. Although there are maybe no gameplay implications, the philosophical implications are staggeringly different.
Uh,
Hi,
what
Izzy.
is
We, we, we,
R&D?
we have decided, since we had extra time, because our players are being responsible and going to sleep after their game, we were just fooling around looking at SG documents.
Yeah. Hello,
Um,
Izzy. Hello, Kyra.
Hello, Izzy. Hello, Kyra. Congratulations on your win. Um, all right. This was because we were talking about asynchronous events and changing lists. But by the way, now it seems that all the testing groups are doing their leaks, right?
Uh, yes, actually, tiebreakers have started our internal league as well. To be perfect honest, I am not sure how many rounds it is, or even if you have talked about anything to that effect.
Yeah,
I guess I'll
this time we started and we decided how many rounds it was going to be, and I think then we changed it midway. So it's um, but it's not that important. I think the important part is to get people playing. There are always some people who are like I think in testing groups, some people who play more, some people who play less, and there are also people
yeah,
who
of
tend to
course.
not play together because like they're in different time zones.
Yeah.
And like maybe this sounds kind of silly, but part of the point of the league is you get people to play together who wouldn't otherwise. Um,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is I think the number one. The I mean to foster group play
yeah.
and exchange of ideas. That's the whole point in the first place.
Interestingly, there's also a boss brawl. Um,
That is the third one.
there is what I suppose is a Montal Boss league. One fun thing about Netrunner is if you go on Cobra and you just look at what's happening, you can find every testing group's internal leagues, and that allows you to like scout and find out which player is in which group, um, which is interesting. Like I didn't know some players were in tiebreakers, and then I saw the um, then I saw the
Oh,
league
man.
on Cobra. I didn't know about this
I
one.
think yeah we're
Everyone
just
is in
in
tiebreakers
our
now.
yeah we are just in our week 3 of the league, and this is where we're still trying to figure out like what kind of format we're comfortable with and so on and so
Yeah, I
forth.
think 5-6 rounds is good, and then the top cut is just good for exhibition reasons, and so people can have some
And
fun and say,
wrapping
"Oh,
things
this is
up
a
so we
big
can have an
match," just
official.
making a big
Yeah,
deal of
yeah,
something.
exactly. Uh, yeah, like our league document actually has this up to like 8 rounds or something, and like, please no, I don't want to be stuck here for like months on end. Come on,
Yeah, because
end it already,
then things get delayed. You end up in the next format, and the league is still not over.
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to make a ban list just to make it more complicated for you to schedule.
Oh, is that right? Is that the word? Is that the word from SBT?
That's the standard balance team's main aim. Yes.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay. I believe this has gone on for long enough.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Of
thank
course.
you for thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having me on.
commentary, especially for being silly with me on stream. It's always a delight. I will hear from
Yeah.
you. I hope you're being responsible as well and going to sleep after drinking lots of water.
Uh, oh shit, where's my? Okay, yeah. Let me get on that right away.
Okay.
I knew I forgot something. All right, all right.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks
Thanks,
for having me
Ty.
on.
Thanks,
It was a
Chad.
pleasure.
Thanks, Kyra and
And
Styx for giving us a good game. See you
yeah,
all
good night.
for other matches in this league. Goodbye.